I recently took a trip to Waxhaw, North Carolina for the Revolutionary War reenactment up there, the Battle of Charlotte. On my way over there, I stopped at a Cabelas, and this is what I saw. If you look closely, you can see there's an M1 carbine there. If you look a little closer, 2 rifles over, you can see that there's some kind of percussion cap carbine. Yeah, that's a Smith carbine. Very shocking to see a Smith carbine at Cabelas. Now, I'm thinking these gotta be overpriced. Each of those has to be tagged at about 2 to 3K each. But when I looked closer, I could see that each of them was just over 1K. That's right, Cabelas big box store, usually known for 2 to 3K M1 Garands, 2 to 3K M1 carbines, priced at around 1K. Now that M1 carbine in the glass, that was a Winchester mid-war with the push button safety, round bolt, adjustable rear sight, and no bayonet lug. Not only that, but there's another shop local to me that has an Underwood M1 carbine, and it also has a bayonet with it, and that one is priced at 1K as well. That M1 carbine has been sitting on the shelf for over a month. I really haven't seen M1 carbines at big box stores or even at local shops priced at 1K since before the pandemic. And that Smith carbine, yeah, that was also priced at 1K, and it's a Civil War era carbine. There's only about 31,000 of them produced, and those are usually in the 2 to 3K range as well. And the other thing is you just don't find those at Cabelas. So that begs the question, are Milsurps in trouble? Does nobody want military surplus rifles anymore? Was it just a fad that's come and gone? What about gun shows? What about ammo? Dan here with Battlefield Curator, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on military surplus valuations here in 2025. All right, so looking at it from a big picture perspective, one of the things we really have to take into consideration is the economy. Yes, we have pretty good GDP growth overall, but consumers are struggling with inflation, and so some people just aren't tempted to go and buy more expensive things. Seems like more people that I know and talk to are kind of trying to save for priorities. They're not going and buying their collectibles, they're not going out there and buying their fun toys, they're conserving. That means putting money away into savings or paying off some debt. There's a lot of things that they are trying to prioritize other than the collectibles. It's actually been really tough on your small local gun shops, so make sure you go check up on them. It's not just military surplus collectibles, it's other things like restaurants and food. The cost of those have gone up, and the consumer just isn't going out to eat as much as they used to. So I've talked to some people around the nation, and it's not just a local thing. There have been some restaurants that have closed down due to higher costs. If you're finding value in this video, be sure to pulverize that like button, subscribe for the algorithms. Also check out the merchandise link in the description. Get yourself a Battlefield Curator hoodie, t-shirt, or a jacket. Thanks. Another thing that's really turned off people from military surplus collectibles is gun shows and overvaluated military surplus prices. These things are affecting people in their mindset. You're gonna pay to go to a gun show, and you're gonna have to travel there. You're gonna have to spend quite a bit of your Saturday or Sunday at one of these gun shows. And then with the travel time, the travel costs, and the entry fee, you might go walk around inside of one of these places and not see anything of fair value. Everything just seems to be way overpriced. And so what is that doing? That's just driving down sentiment for gun shows in general. After talking to some folks and seeing our local gun shows here, there has been a substantially less amount of people that have gone to these gun shows, making them appear very empty. Something else that we're hearing about, and it's not really set in stone, is that ammo prices, ammo availability. Some of the ammo makers from overseas might have difficulty importing the ammo that they're producing, mainly because, yeah, you have the Ukraine-Russo war, and also you have the tariffs. And some of these makers can just say, hey, you know what, we're not gonna import anymore to the US if we're gonna get tariffed, or the tariffs are just gonna go passed on to the consumer. Now, there are some US-based makers of ammo, and that's one thing that I would say is that, hey, if there is a void to be filled, somebody will come in and fill that void eventually. What I have heard is some of these distributors and these US-based importers, they've kind of hoarded a stash so that they can slowly sell them off and slowly increase the price as time goes on. So that way it's not just, bam, one day a box of 20 rounds is 20 bucks, and then the next day, bam, it's 60 bucks. So when it comes down to it, I would say that the overall sentiment for military surplus weapons has gone down. It seems like people are liquidating some of their collection. People are not really enthusiastic as they once were about these. There hasn't really been a lot of movies or video games that have been released recently that has driven up sentiment. So going back to the original question, are military surplus weapons in trouble? Well, here in 2025, if we're seeing lower prices on military surplus weapons and we're seeing people liquidate some of their collections and the low sentiment and lower prices, with some people freaking out about the ammo situation, yeah, this actually might be one of the best times to pick up and look for good deals. If you overpaid for your military surplus weapons within the last 5 years and you're looking to liquidate some of them and finding out that you can only get maybe half of what they're worth, maybe even a third of what they're worth, you would be freaking out. If you're a savvy collector and you've been around for a while, yeah, you already know that these valuations are cyclical and they could go up or down. So you won't be freaking out right now. You will be thinking to yourself, this is a great time to get some good deals. Well, if you study history, yes, there were time periods when there was low sentiment and ammo was kind of questionable for certain military surplus rifles. Now here in 2025, I've already found a few deals. I actually picked up that Smith carbine. To me, it was a good deal comparatively to other websites, other retailers that might have and specialize in Civil War era weaponry. And with there only being 31,000 or so of these Smith carbines made, yeah, I think this is a great pickup for the collection. And fortunately enough, there is a lot of resources for the cartridges that these take, so I will be looking into getting this down to the range once I find out the ammo situation a little bit more. What are you guys doing here in 2025? Are you thinking about liquidating your collection? Are you kind of looking for good deals but not really pulling the trigger? Or are you actively going out there and finding good deals? Let me know in the comment section. And as always, be sure to learn history and curate history. Pulverize the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Be sure to check out the merchandise link in the description. Get yourself a Battlefield Curator t-shirt or hoodie. See you in the next video. Make it a great day.